Politics did not get worse. Got performative, not louder, not more extreme, just more visibly bland. When something is being watched, tip stops being honest. That sounds dramatic, but it is subtle because performance does not arrive loudly, arrives disguised. As engagement more, posts more, reactions more, people talking it. Feels like participation. Confusion is where everything shifted. There was a time when politics was boring and boring meant functional decisions happened quietly, arguments happened, off-camera outcomes mattered more than reactions. You did not need to agree, you just needed things to work. Now everything happens in public, not because transparency won, but because attention pays. Better, every statement is crafted, every response is optimized. Every pause is intentional, not for clarity, for impact. This is the first short, friendly block. Politics stopped being about solving problems and started being about signaling identity, because identity keeps people watching, even when nothing changes. That is the trade. Outrage spreads, compromise does not. So outrage became the currency, not because people are angrier, but because anger performs. Anger gets shared, anger gets clipped, anger gets rewarded. Explanation does not. That is not a moral failure, it's an incentive structure in systems. Follow incentives when visibility becomes the goal, competence becomes optionally. Do not need to fix anything. You just need to look like you are fighting. This is another short block. You do not need results. You need moments, moments that can be posted, moments that can be replayed, moments that can be used. This is why everything feels intense, but nothing feels resolved. Endless debates, endless cycles, no closure, because closure does not trend. The performance never ends, it cannot tiff it in detention. Would drop, so the conflict must stay alive. This is why every issue feels existential, every election feels final, every disagreement feels dangerous. Not because the stakes suddenly changed, but because fear became the hook. This is a strong short win. Fear is the hook. People stop listening, they start choosing sides. And once identity is involved, information stops mattering. Facts bounce off, context gets ignored because the performance already decided the roles here. Traitors, saviors, sand. Once politics becomes theater, the audience stops asking for better writing. They just want their side to win. This is where trust collapsed, not loudly, not all at once, quietly. When people realized no one was actually in control, react, managing, just surviving the next cycle. Leadership used to mean direction, now it means presence. This was another clip. Friendly block being everywhere, commenting on everything, never being silent, because silence looks like weakness. A system that confuses noise with strength, so leaders talk. Moran say less statements, replace plans, narratives, replace accountability. People feel at that low-level unease, that sense that nothing is grounded, that sense that everything feels temporary, even the rules, because performance does not build stability, builds momentum, and momentum needs constant fuel, which is why everything feels exhausting. This is a high-performing short. You are not tired because you care too much. You are tired because nothing ever resolves. There is no finish line, no outcome, no moment where things settle, just the next reaction, the next clip, the next crisis, even when nothing actually changed. That is the quiet damage, not disagreement, not polarization, but the loss of seriousness. When politics stops being serious, life stops feeling solid, because systems shape reality. And when systems feel fake, people disengage, not loudly, not proudly, they just check out. This is another strong short. They stop expecting competence, they stop expecting honesty, they stop expecting improvement, they expect performance, and that expectation becomes the ceiling. This is why people say nothing feels real anymore. It is not because reality disappeared, it is because meaning got diluted. When everything is urgent, nothing feels important. Everyone is shouting no. One sounds credible when leaders perform strength instead of exercising it. Trust erodes, and once trust erodes, everything feels heavier. Every decision, every institution, every promise, because doubt becomes part of daily life. The most dangerous part, this feels normal. Now we adapted, we learned how to scroll past outrage, how to ignore contradictions, how to live with unresolved tension. That adaptation looks like resilience, but it is numbness, and numbness is expensive, because when you Stop expecting substance use. Stop demanding a hand when no one demands a performance. Becomes permanent politics did not get worse. Got optimized for attention, for emotion, for survival not, for outcomes, not for trust not, for reality, and the cost is not. Chaos, the cost is emptiness, a constant sense that something matters, but nothing changes. That is what happens when visibility replaces responsibility, and systems that reward performance rarely stop on their own.